The story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. Hello, my little sunshine friends. Have you ever wondered what happens when promises are broken? Well, let me take you on a magical journey to the town of Hamelin, where something quite extraordinary once happened. Once upon a time, in the year 1284, the town of Hamelin had a very big problem. Oh my goodness, what a problem it was. Rats and mice were everywhere. They scurried through the streets, nibbled on food in the cupboards, and even ran across people's beds at night. Eek! The townspeople were at their wits' end. Can you imagine having mice running across your dinner table? Or rats stealing your freshly baked cookies? The mayor and all the citizens held a meeting to figure out what to do. "We must get rid of these pesky rodents," declared the mayor, pounding his fist on the table. But no one knew how to solve this furry problem. Then, one bright morning, a most unusual visitor arrived in town. He was dressed in the most colorful coat you've ever seen. Reds and yellows, blues and greens, all patched together like a rainbow you could wear. Because of his colorful clothing, people called him the Pied Piper. The stranger walked right up to the mayor and bowed politely. "Good day to you, Mr. Mayor," said the Pied Piper in a musical voice. "I hear you have a rat problem in your lovely town." "Indeed we do," sighed the mayor. "They're absolutely everywhere." "Well, you're in luck," the piper smiled. "I am a rat catcher, and for a small payment, I can rid your town of every last mouse and rat." The mayor's eyes grew wide. "You can? That would be wonderful. Name your price, good sir." The Pied Piper named his fee, and the mayor quickly agreed. "My dear friends, wouldn't you have done the same if your home was overrun with rodents?" "Consider it done," said the Pied Piper with a tip of his hat. Without wasting another moment, the colorful stranger reached into his pocket and pulled out a small silver fife. When he put it to his lips and began to play, the most magical thing happened. From every house, shop, and building in Hamelin, rats and mice began to appear. They poured out of doors and windows, scrambled from beneath floorboards, and emerged from countless hiding places. Wow! There must have been thousands of them. The townspeople watched in amazement as the rodents gathered around the Pied Piper, swaying to his mysterious tune. When the last rat had joined the crowd, the piper turned and began walking toward the river Weser, never stopping his melody. The entire furry army followed him, twitching their whiskers and tapping their tiny paws in time with the music. When the piper reached the riverbank, he waded right into the water, splash, and continued playing. The rats and mice, still enchanted by the music, followed him into the water. "Hooray!" cheered the townspeople. "We're saved!" The citizens of Hamelin celebrated their newfound freedom from the rodents. The streets were clean, the food was safe, and everyone was happy. Well, almost everyone. You see, my clever little friends, something not so nice happened next. When the Pied Piper returned to collect his payment, the mayor and the townsfolk looked at each other with sneaky expressions. "Well," said the mayor, tugging at his collar, "now that we think about it, that was an awful lot of money for just playing a tune and leading some rats away." "But we had a deal," reminded the piper, his friendly smile fading. "Perhaps a smaller payment would be more reasonable," suggested the mayor. The Pied Piper's face grew sad and then angry. "A promise is a promise," he said quietly. "You'll regret breaking your word." He turned and walked away, his colorful coat no longer seeming quite so bright. The townspeople quickly forgot about the Pied Piper and returned to their daily lives. But oh dear, they should have remembered their promise. On the morning of June 26th, while the grown-ups were busy at work, the Pied Piper returned to Hamelin. This time he wore a hunter's outfit with a bright red hat. Once again he took out his fife and began to play. But something very different happened this time. Instead of rats and mice, it was the children of Hamelin who heard his tune. From their homes and playgrounds, 130 boys and girls came running, laughing and dancing to the magical music. "Where are we going?" asked one little girl. "To a wonderful place," replied the piper, with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. The mayor's own daughter was among them, skipping along at the front of the line. As the children followed the Pied Piper through the streets, a babysitter carrying a baby noticed the strange procession and watched with wide eyes as they headed toward a mountain at the edge of town. "What in the world?" she gasped, hurrying back to alert the parents. Meanwhile, the Pied Piper led the children right up to the mountain where, can you believe it, a magical doorway appeared in the rock. The children, still dancing to the music, followed him inside, and the doorway closed behind them. When the parents heard what had happened, they rushed to the town gates, calling out their children's names. Tears streamed down their faces as they searched everywhere. But the mountain remained solid stone, with no sign of a door. "Our children! Please bring back our children!" they cried. But the Pied Piper and the children were nowhere to be found. Now, my sweet friends, this is where the original story takes a sad turn. But I believe that promises should be kept and that children should always return safely home. So, let's imagine what happened next. Deep inside the mountain, the children found themselves in a beautiful cavern filled with sparkling crystals and flowering plants. Oh, it was like nothing they had ever seen before. "Welcome to my magical world," said the Pied Piper. "Here you will stay until your parents learn the importance of keeping their promises." The children looked around in wonder at the beautiful cavern, but soon they began to miss their families. "I want to go home," said a little boy with tears in his eyes. "Me too," echoed many others. The Pied Piper's heart wasn't truly cruel. He only wanted to teach the townspeople a lesson. When he saw how sad the children were, he felt a twinge of regret. Meanwhile, back in Hamelin, the parents had gathered in the town square. "What have we done?" cried the mayor. "We broke our promise, and now our children are gone." "We must make this right," declared an old wise woman. "A promise made must be a promise kept." The entire town agreed. They collected the full payment they had originally promised the Pied Piper, plus extra as an apology. But how would they find him? That's when they remembered the two children who had escaped the Piper's spell. One little boy had turned back to get his jacket and missed following the others into the mountain. Another child had lagged behind and returned home, confused. "I think I know what to do," said the little boy who had gone back for his jacket. "The piper's music made everyone follow him. Maybe music will bring him back to us." The townspeople gathered all their instruments, drums and flutes, harps and bells, and began to play a beautiful melody right at the foot of the mountain. The sound echoed through the air, sweet as honey and pure as a spring morning. Inside the mountain, the Pied Piper heard the music and felt the sincerity of their apology. He smiled and turned to the children. "It seems your parents have learnt their lesson. It's time to go home." With a wave of his fife, he led the children back through the mountain, which opened once more to let them pass. When the townspeople saw their children emerging from the mountain, they dropped their instruments and ran forward with cries of joy. Parents hugged their little ones tight, promising never to let them go again. The mayor stepped forward and bowed deeply to the Pied Piper. "We were wrong," he said, offering a bag of gold coins. "Here is what we promised, and more. Please accept our apology." The Pied Piper's stern expression melted into a smile. He accepted the payment with a nod. "Remember," he said to everyone gathered there, "a promise is as valuable as gold. Keep your word, and you'll never go wrong." From that day forward, The people of Hamelin never broke another promise. They even created a special holiday to remember their lesson, with music and dancing. But no rats allowed! To this very day, if you visit Hamelin, you can see monuments and artwork commemorating this story. There's even a street where, for many years, no music was allowed to be played, though now you'll hear plenty of joyful tunes throughout the town. And that, my darling dreamers, is why we always keep our promises. After all, you never know when a colourful piper might come playing his magical tune. Sweet dreams and honest hearts to you all. Thank you for listening, and I hoped you liked this story. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I have plenty more fairy tales for you.